Hello. Good day,
Hi,
Mr. Augusto.
hi, Altair.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
Thank you. I'm fine as well.
Great. Is it
So,
is your mic working now?
yes, I think probably yes, because we so we shift the Skype to our phone.
Okay. Yes, it's working now. I can hear you.
So, thank you for allocating your time for us, and so we are at your disposal.
Great.
I am Mr. Altay Jafar, the assistant and counsel of Mr. Tural Ismailzadeh. Now I'm out of the country, so he asked me to just make a call with you and to provide all the information that you need. So we have already provided our project info to you. Maybe you have already, had the time to review it. So if you have any questions, we are ready.
Yeah, the idea is let me introduce myself first, and then what I want
Sure,
you to do is to present the pitch deck for me, and then
sure.
we go through all the details when you present to me. Then we can discuss a little bit about it. I can ask questions and make some comments.
Sure, that's fine
Okay?
for us.
So just to
Okay,
introduce myself to you, I'm an angel investor and I'm startup mentor. I was a
very good.
consultant for one of the biggest consulting firms of the world. I was working on the strategy department of the consulting group. So I was focused on selling and manage projects of more than 1 million reais. I have identified with my team more than $100 million in revenue improvement opportunities for clients. I have worked with multinationals. I have worked for different sectors, and it were 30 companies total that I have helped during my career. So when I left the consulting, I was in a senior executive position there, and then I
Very
left to
good.
work for entrepreneurs because I was passionate about the environment, the ecosystem of startups. I've been to Silicon Valley for getting experience in the ecosystem, in their ecosystem, to understand their values, what they were doing in order to reach such success as they are facing now. So I put everything together, and today I have analyzed more than 15 countries' pitches. So pitches of entrepreneurs in more than 15 countries, 4 continents, and I have invested in 7 companies already, and one of them is about to become a unicorn. So
Very
this
good. So,
is a little bit about me. So what I want you to do now is to present the pitch deck. If you could share the screen, your screen, and we can go through your presentation.
I think as well, I'm calling with my phone, so maybe I have opened my our presentation in our notebook. So maybe I can make the view. God bless view from the notebook, so you can just see how it works. So I'm now I'll try to just make it like that. Sorry, no, I'm just to reverse it in order to just uh, I think now you can see our presentation. Yes, is it possible to see it or
Yes, I can but
You can see.
let me see if I could reach your email or Turo email, and then I share the screen and then you present
Yes,
to me.
yes, that's also very good point. So I can just provide brief information, and you can just, I mean, the slide the page.
Okay. So just give me 1 second. I'm opening
That's okay.
the presentation here.
So I'll also try to find the presentation and share it with you.
I found the presentation. It's in the download process here.
Good.
Yes, it's opening.
Okay. Can you hear me right now?
I can hear you.
Uh-huh. Very good.
Just 1 second. It's opening. Yes. can see your screen now.
Yes, I have tried to share. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, very good. So let's start it. So our project is the we have named it hyper traffic energy model. It is the generators, the mechanism that transform the motion generated by the uh, intensive running of the transport, so the movement of the transport. So before, the starting our project, we have just made a brief, image of the what kind of demands humans have right now. So, for if we just divide it by the categories, so it's one of the biggest demands is the food. Then we need the water, energy, communication, and protection. So energy is also one of the the critical demands of the humankind. So there are several gaps in the market, especially in the energy market. So it is because of the lack of the new market products or unfair distribution of the energy resources and new market products, and also the utilization and run out the of the natural resources. So natural resources are not forever, so they finish. So this is our the brief image from our mechanism hypertrophic energy model. So what it is a power station or a mechanism that would be installed on the roads, on the road lines, where in transport, the cars, the other devices, the other the transport vehicles move. So its main working principle is that we put it on as a layer on the roads. So when the cars cross over it, so they make a pressure on it. So this mechanism transfers this pressure, this touching, into energy through the special, the accessories, transistors, etc. So then we can accumulate, store this energy, and transfer this energy to the, for example, for lighting the roads, for giving the energy to the facilities located alongside the roads. Also, it is very good energy source for electromobiles. For example, Tesla models. As you know, now there is a growing demand for the electromobiles in the world. Almost in all the countries. So for these cars, we need some power or electro stations in order to charge these cars. So we can store the energy that we receive from the roads into these electro charging stations and provide the electromobiles much more cheaper energy source. That is one of the options. So we have some theoretical calculations, like the one car has four wheels. So if there is a big road with the six, the pieces, so then so it, for example, how much one car creates a touching in in 1 hour. So when if we turn it into energy, so we can get very big energy. That's our point. We have some advantages um, when compared to other markets. Most of them, most critical of them are that we start working and we can determine the power, the power of this system starting from the installation, and uh, we can start using it starting from the installation. So mainly our energy, I mean the creating power is sustainable. So we are locating it inside the main mechanism, and it has the degeneration process, and it is the renewable energy. Because you just can imagine that there are a lot of big and small roads in the world of a million kilometers. So then, just for example, in Dubai, in Brazil, in Los Angeles, in other megapolises, where in a day, I mean, the millions of cars crossing the streets, the roads. So if you put this mechanism on the road line, and if the mechanism transmits all this touching, all this pressure to the energy and accumulates it, you can get very big energy. So we think that our potential clients could be, the drivers of the electromobiles, as I have mentioned earlier. So we can provide this energy in the form of electromobile charging stations. We can provide this energy to the facilities along the roads for their lighting, road service companies, and also we can provide this accumulated energy to the villages, settlements that locate alongside the roads. So we have our project company, Sword and Eagle. It was incorporated last year according to the legislation of the Republic of Azerbaijan. So it is the local startup company specialized on disruptive technologies. So our main team, the Tural Ismailzadeh, it's the project owner, and our team leader. I am Altay Jafarov, the consul for international relations. Mr. Rusal Ismailov is consul for legislative issues. We have our team members. Mr. Azay Abbasov is an engineer, construction engineer. Mr. Shahin Karimli is the constructor and author of the several projects, and he is also a disabled person. So he is very weak, very little, and spends all his life in a wheelchair. But despite that, he is very energized man. So with his very limited abilities, so he can create very good animations, calculation, etc. So he is one of the main members of our team. Mr. Nadir Zabev is our engineer, electronic engineer. Mr. Fuat Hussein is our market research manager. So we have several partners and supporters, some scientific people like the Professor Nurmahmet Mammadov. So we have our investment counsel, Mr. Hikmet Aliyev, uh, and also several, the supporters from the National Academy of Science. So they are working on the energy efficiency issues. So those people are also our, the supporters. There are professors, uh, electronic engineers, and also the uh, managers of the technological parks among these people. So that is a brief um, presentation about our product and about what it is. Also, we had a video. We have tested our product very recently. So if you are interested, we can show you a little brief video to how we tested it, because it is we have, I mean, the developed our very little prototype, and then we have tested it. So if you wanna, we can share this video as well. So if we have some time.
What I want to do now is
Uh-huh.
to go back to the presentation
Okay then.
and
No.
provide you with feedback on what I
Okay.
see and make some comments.
Sure.
I
Sure.
think it will be valuable for you to see
Sure.
some aspects.
Sure. So can you see the presentation right now?
Yes, I can see.
Okay. Very good.
So, going back to the first page,
Okay then.
I like the way that you present what you do in the first page because you mentioned that generators that transform the motion generated by intensive running of transport to energy, impulse, and
Sure.
energy.
Sure.
It summarizes what you intend to do, which is good. It's a simple way to demonstrate what you do. I like the first picture that you present, which is
Thank you.
totally connected with energy and energy being connected and also being transmitted. So I
Thank
like the way that you structured your first slide. The only thing that is confused to me is the symbol of sky angels. What is
Okay
this?
then. Okay. So we have our project company, Sword and Eagle, but now we are planning to rename the our group. So we have already made a logo and called it Sky Angels Group. So now it's only the matter of time to officially, I mean, register the company with
Oh,
the
I see.
renamed and the renewed name. So that is the point.
I see.
That's why we have used our new logo.
Ah, okay. It's clear now.
Thank you.
So the next slide is categories of demands for humans.
Yes.
This slide you mentioned that there is demand on energy in different categories, right?
Yes. So we also we wanted to stress out that so the energy is one of the important and critical demands of the humankind. So if we just see the portions of the demand category, so energy takes, I mean, 25, 20, 23. So it's almost one fourth of the all demand categories.
So if we sum up everything here, we will
Uh
have
huh.
100%.
Yes.
Okay, so we have 5 here. No, okay. So your idea is to provide energy to those categories when you created energy with your service, right?
Yes. That's also a point.
Okay. I believe that you could explain it in a different way. Why? Because when you present that you are gonna allocate 33% of the energy that you're gonna create on the food market
Uh
and
huh.
26% of energy that you generated in the water market, it's confused to me. Why? Because I don't know how exactly you do that, and I don't know exactly what is what is the problem.
Okay,
I think
let me let
there's one slide missing here, which is
let
the
me
problem.
let me just briefly again explain it. So uh, it is the when we are talking about the about our mechanism, we are uh, we firstly stress out that uh, what mainly the people, the humankind demands. I mean, we have stressed out the main categories. So, for example,
Okay,
what
I
you need.
understand. I understand. I'm
Uh huh.
just saying that the order that you presented could be improved, because when you present your startup, your idea, your project, the
Okay.
first slide you present what you do, what's the intention. The
Sure.
next slide, which is this one, you should explain what's the problem that is outside that your solution could address.
Thank you.
When you
Yes.
present the problem, you are gonna say that there is a lot of energy being thrown out without everyone notice, without anybody notice. Why? Because we have a huge potential of energy creation that is just disappearing from our eyes. So
That.
what we could do is we could solve this problem. With our idea, we are proposing for to implement our project in this and this location, so that we will have the ability to create X thousand kilowatts per hour, and that will be beneficial for a multiple categories of the market. With this
Yes.
total energy created, we could allocate in specific markets according to demand, and then you talk about demand.
Sure, sure. That's very good point. Thank you for very
Because
clear.
at this point, I don't know exactly what's the problem. I don't know very well what you do. I only I only know the one sentence of what your company intend to do. So
Sure.
explain the problem, talk about the solution, and then you talk about the market. And in this specific slide, you could provide us with a different kind of information. Instead of saying that you are gonna allocate 33% of the energy created on the food category, you could say that food industry required X amount of energy. Water industry require X amount of energy. And we are gonna allocate 10% of the demand that this market required in Middle East or in Asia or in the geography that you're gonna choose, in order to address this problem. And this energy will be more, it would be cheaper compared with the existent energy source.
Sure.
So I didn't see here what you are proposing to the market, in fact.
Okay. We
Okay,
got your point. Thanks. Thanks for the clarification. So we will try to redesign it and just to add the missing points.
great. So going to the next slide, you provided here reasons for gaps in the market.
Yes.
You mentioned new market product,
Yes.
and then what you mentioned here is that there is a lack of new market product reserves.
When we are talking about new market product, we also mean, I mean, the product similar to our mechanism, the product that provide new type, new kind of energy. That is the point.
But why do I need a new kind of energy? I just need energy, and I just need energy cheaper than the existence one. I need energy available when I need, and I need energy cheaper than what I have. It doesn't
So
matter for me if it's new or not. What
so
really
it's like
matters for me is the availability and the cost.
sure.
And an additional benefit would be that I can provide you energy when you want, when you need, cheaper, and through good environment, good environmental. It's provided by a good environmental source.
Yes, without I mean the minimized harm to the environment and
Exactly.
more clean.
Exactly. So for me, the reason that you are gonna play in this market is that you can provide energy cheaper, or you can provide energy availability source more environmentally friendly. And
Uh huh.
if an industry or a category would require energy and they don't have, and there's a lack of energy, I don't know why or because of what, and you can provide this energy for them, that would be a benefit. But if they have energy as much as they can, as much as they want, and they just need to pay for the energy in any time that they want, providing them energy, it's not a differential. It's
Yes.
just another competitor. What you can do or what you need to do is to provide energy for them when they need and cheaper than what they have now.
All right. So you
So
also
those are,
suggest
for me, those are the reason. You
so
mentioned here unfair distribution of new market product reserves among the countries. New market product, it doesn't necessarily is a thing that should be in place in the market. The market doesn't require a new product. It required energy.
okay. So
So
you also
energy,
suggest
it's energy. You are not gonna provide a different kind of energy. If you could do that, oh, that's great. But it's not the purpose here. The purpose here is to create energy from a different source, which is more environmentally friendly. It's more, it's cheaper, and the companies would benefit from this action. So things here that I would like to see in your pitch deck. What's
uh,
the cost of production?
okay.
How many energy could you produce? And in which geography are you gonna start? Because
Okay.
it's not possible for you to start in every place. If you if you have unlimited source of investment, you could increase your production, but even if you have unlimited money, you wouldn't have unlimited people to work on each station to create the project in every place at the same time. So you need to select regions to start, and then you need to say why you choose that region. Oh, because we know the region, we have talked with government, we have talked with infrastructure companies that are in charge of that location. That's so we have relationship in that region. So we are gonna start here. But then, once you have the pilot tested and the amount of energy created and distributed, we will use this result to expand our business and to go to other regions.
Yes, very good
I
point.
want to see a plan here. Where are you going to start? And what movement are you going to do next? What's your next move? It's
Okay, then.
something that I want to see here.
Yes, the very, very good point you mentioned. So uh, then
Great.
we need to redesign our investment pitch
Yeah,
to add the points that you mentioned, especially the reason why we are providing the product, what is the initial cost, and what would be the potential income of this, I mean, the product, and where geographically we would like to start, or we are ready to start marketing this product.
exactly. And here in this slide, when you mention our product, here you could include pictures, and it should be the third slide. The first slide is your front page, which is already good. We could improve that, but it's already good. The
Okay.
second slide is the problem.
We
What's
should
the
we should
problem outside that you solve?
we
And then
should
the third
should
slide should be our product. But this
okay.
slide that you presented here, it's full of text. It's not
Okay.
very good to read. The better way to present it is to present pictures saying what you do and how it works.
All right.
It's much easier. It's more effective to explain, and it's easier to understand.
All right. Thanks
And
for
then the
your
next slide, you can talk about the calculation and the amount of energy you're gonna create with
yes.
this
That is the
product.
yes. That is the theoretical calculation of the
Exactly.
uh,
And then you
what.
compare with existent energy sources.
Yes.
I like to see this comparison and to see your advantage in a graph, not in a table. So you could use a two-dimensional graph,
Uh-huh.
and then you can categorize each. You could use a two-dimension, which is 4 quadrants, or you could use a spider graph. The
Yes.
spider graph will provide you more with more variables to use, which is also good because you have six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have seven product comparison. You can use a spider chart. I think it would be good.
Yes. And it would be usually, I mean, visually more better.
Yes, exactly. So the next slide, we are running out of time here, but just
Okay.
to make a few more comments here on the client side. Um, when you present the clients or the possible clients, you presented here pictures of what could be your potential clients.
Yes.
I like to present this slide when you are presenting the problem. When you're
Okay.
presenting the problem, you could tell a story about what's the problem of each client. And there's a specific method in order to do that. We are not gonna we won't have time available enough to talk about it, but there's a specific methodology to talk about the clients and to tell a story, to put together the problem and what are the clients, and then you create a story to go to the next slide, which is the product, your solution. So you should think a little bit better on this slide as well. When you talk
Okay.
about your company, I think it's not necessary to talk about your company at this stage of the presentation.
Okay then.
It's very important to talk about the people. I see that you have one, two, three, four,
Four.
four,
Yes. Four.
five slides with
Yes.
people, which is very, very good. What I would add in each for each people here is to talk about their results. What
Okay.
do they have achieved in their career that make them very important for the project?
All
Here you
right.
mentioned the technical aspects and the study aspect. But
Okay then.
the most important thing that you should consider is the results that they are bringing or they have brought.
Okay then.
So I would recommend you to add this aspect on when you're presenting the team.
Okay. We'll also
Other
take.
important aspects that you didn't mention here is the financials. So it's very important to consider the costs, the revenue, where do you want to be, how are you gonna get there, how are you gonna market your product, what's your go-to-market strategy, what is the valuation of your company right now, how much money do you believe that you're gonna spend in a year in order to run the project. There are a full chapter on your presentation that's missed, so you should include it here in order to have a pitch available for investors, for them to be able to analyze your business as a whole, considering all numbers, considering all strategies, considering all people.
All right. So thank you for very much for your very very valuable comments and the points that you highlighted. So they are very critical. So as a prudent professional, so you immediately just realize the gaps that exist in our presentation. So you're very, I mean, the professional, you explain what we should do it, to make it better, to make it more professional, and to make it more visually, I mean, that nice. So we will take them into consideration. We will redesign our investment pitch, and we will add the points and the parts that you mentioned. And maybe after some time, we will send you our new and updated investment pitch, just in order to get some professional feedback that what it looks like. I mean, the now, I mean, after the redesign and after the recalculation.
Yeah, what I like doing. I'm not sure how do you believe it's the appropriate time or not. But as I mentioned before, I was in charge of helping companies with their strategy and helping companies now with their pitch decks for investors. So one thing that I get used to is to help CEOs and entrepreneurs to develop a plan in order to define a strategic planning for the company, to define how to better present their pitch for investors, and I usually do mentoring for few companies. There are a specific and selected group of companies that I choose to be a mentor of when they are really interested and when they need. And if you believe that it makes sense for me to explain how does the process of being mentored by me works, I could explain it to you right now. I'm not sure
Yes,
if it makes
yes.
sense.
If it always makes sense, so it's up to you. Depending on your time and on your availability. So we are more than happy to see to hear.
Great, great. What I let's talk about it. What I usually do, I only provide entrepreneurs with mentoring when they are seeking for growth, when they believe that they can make an impact in the world. And I think that your startup has a possible your startup might be a possible startup for me to mentoring because I see the impact that it can provide to the world.
Yes.
And one thing that it's critical for us to continue and talking about the mentoring program is your vision on the startup and your mid and long term goals. What is the long time goal of the startup? Where do you see yourself in 3 years?
So our initial aim is that to start marketing in our country, then to expand our market into our near geography, like the CIS countries and Central Asia. And after, for example, maybe in 3 years, but in 5 years, already expanding our business through other continents like the Africa and Central Eastern Asia, where the energy issues are very critical, and also to expand our business to the big, I mean, the megapolises like the Tokyo, New Delhi, Sao Paulo, Los Angeles, New York, etc., where we have very big source of the energy, so millions of cars, and also there are a lot of energy, I mean, the providers, but also it doesn't mean that if the country is a developed country, is a high, I mean, the income country, so it doesn't mean that people uh, always are ready to pay more for the energy. So if we can provide the more affordable, cheaper, and more environmentally friendly and sustainable energy, maybe we can also make them think out, so they also can decide on changing their energy providers. So our long-term goal is to expanding, I mean, the globally, not just to our very close region, but to expand globally, especially to the global big megapolises. That's our goal.
When you think about this goal, and if you imagine, if you think that you are already 5 years from now, you are in 2025 now, and you reach the goal, what's the feeling that you are having right now?
where the actually maybe it would be more poetic or much more. I mean, the how to say it would be sounding a bit strange, but we could feel that we are the new Elon Musks of the technology. Maybe not the same as the Elon Musk, but some kind of very big people who could provide a very big and very good competitor to the Tesla or to the the global energy companies.
And what's your feeling being one Elon Musk in the future? How do you
It's
feel?
not on, okay. It's not only the feeling that we see that we are the biggest, so we are the best, we are the Superman. No, the point is that we do something very good, we do something very beneficial, and the product that we provide gives the benefit to more people with cheaper price. And the people are not dependent on some, how to say, let's say, so-called monopolists of the energy. So we can save them from the monopoly of the bigger energy companies. That's some kind of thing that. So it's not the the bad meaning of the self-confidence. It's much more the feeling for doing something good.
Great. And
That that's
who are who are the closest people that would be celebrating with you when you reach that goal?
That's our team, actually. That's our team that started with us, didn't left us when we sometimes failed, and stayed with us up to the end and provided their every support. I just gave you an example that our constructor and the animation engineer is a disabled pupil. I mean, he's a disabled person. So he's just imagine that he's 30 kilo. His weight is 30 kilo. He's 30. Okay, he's 30 years old, but he's 30 kilo, very little, and just is obliged to spend all his life in a little wheelchair. But he has very good brain, he has very good ideas, and he wants to do something very good for the people. That would be the feeling that we really live.
And when you reach that goal, what would those people will be saying to you?
I think they would say to us that, first of all, thank you that you didn't give up, and it's very good that you were straightforward, results oriented, and you managed, you was able to stand on your foot and go directly to your goal.
And do you believe that having mentorship in order to reach that goal faster would make sense? Do you believe that it would help you to get there faster?
There are some already working mechanisms in the world, in the global business, and in the startup business. One of them is the professional mentorship. That's why, in this regard, from this perspective, we do believe strongly that the mentorship would be very beneficial for us, because we will get advice, recommendations, and hints from the professional that would orient us to the right direction. So that we do believe that mentorship would be much more important, because maybe we have some ideas, but sometimes we don't know how the properly to realize the ideas. The mentorship is that to teach us, to instruct us, and to show us how to do it. So that's why it's very important, and it makes sense, of course.
And why should I select your startup to mentor instead of select another one?
because after 5 or 6 years, you would say to everybody that I have been the mentor of the second Elon Musk. Maybe it's again a bit funny, but sometimes the belief is the half of the I mean the business. So if you don't believe on yourself, if you are not confident, and if you are not straightforward, so you will fail. That's the point.
Yeah. I really liked the way that you see yourself in the future, how you want to make an impact in the world. You think
Sure.
globally, you don't think only regionally,
Yes.
which is great. I believe that you have a big dream, and having big dreams is fundamental for growing. And at the same time, you have your foot on the ground. So you have
Sure.
the head on the heaven, on the sky, and then you foot on the ground, which is very important. So you have the two aspects that entrepreneur must have, which is dream big and act small. It's exactly this sentence here. Can you hear? Can you see that
Yes.
here? It's written here. Think big, start small, and act fast.
Sure.
So I could see exactly what you're talking represented in this uh, in my wall here actually. So I believe that it makes sense for us to work together. And as I mentioned, I was in charge of consulting projects. I have sold and I have managed project of more than 1 million reais, which is for big companies to proceed step by step in order to reach their goals. So I was responsible, I was in charge of developing and manage the whole project in order to make them achieve their goals. So now that I want to really make an impact in the world and start to entrepreneurs which are really willing to dedicate their lives in order to make an impact, I believe it makes completely sense for us to work together. And how does it work? The mentoring process is a step by step planned project. It's kind of a project because it has a beginning and it has an end. And this end we consider the first stage. So we are gonna develop a plan for 6 months. So the mentoring program would take 6 months in the first stage, which is what we are gonna work together. You have a vision of in 5 years, in 3 years, reach the goal. But we need to break down those objectives, those goals, in order to reach a 6 month goals, a 6 month goal, which is what we are gonna work together. So the first meeting that we are gonna have is to define the 6 months goal. You could already have this goal, but what we are gonna do is to review and redefine if you have already defined that. Once
Okay
you
then.
have established that goal, we are gonna define step by step using the methodology that I used for the big companies, adapt with the startups of Silicon Valley, what they are doing now, to the startup to begin to work and reach the goals. So once we have defined those goals and each meetings following step by step activities that need to be conducted in order to reach the goals, we are gonna go and we are gonna grow the business step by step. The meetings will be each 15 days. So you're gonna have activities to be done in these 15 days, and then we get together, we review what we have done, what you have done, and then we plan the next 50 days, 15 days, and then we review what you have done, and then we plan the next 15 days, and we do it up to 6 months. So the
Okay.
program, the first stage program will have 12 sections. It's not a weekly program because in a week it's a very short time, so it's not effective. You should act, you should have and perform a lot of activities in this period of time. And if we have weekly meetings, it's not time enough for you to prepare, to act, to learn, to structure for us to have another meeting. And then the project is structured in these 12 weeks with
Yes.
this
Yes.
15 this 15 days meetings, and it's structured that way.
All right.
Do you
Okay.
believe that it makes sense to follow those this methodology? Define a middle term goal, make a project, let's call it,
So,
which is
okay, okay.
defined to work bi-weekly in order to you to develop activities in order to get there, and then having these sections with this periodicity.
Actually, I mean, personally, I do believe that it would be workable, so it would be more beneficial and practical. So I would, if you just don't mind, I would just consult with Mr. Tural Ismail Zadeh. So I'll come back to you I mean, the very shortly, just with our feedback that, and if any, if there would be any clarification, so we'll communicate again through the email and just clarify it in order to start our program.
Great. And how would it what would be the next step? So once you have demonstrate the the desire to be mentored by me, and if it makes sense for your company to follow and to move to the next steps, what we will have is an additional questionnaire for you to respond and to see if your company is eligible. Is the final questionnaire for us to analyze. We will have some compliance questions. We will have an
Okay.
email with additional questions, and then we can talk if it makes sense for both of us to work together. And then I explain also what is the investment required also for the startup, and how is the payment process, and and we can schedule the meetings to get started and to make your business grow.
Sure. So then please, I'll just so that if we just right now make our milestones or the little action plan for the short term. So I'll consult with Mr. Ismail Zada regarding our today's meeting and very productive discussion. So I'll come back to you with his feedback, and after that, so we will receive a questionnaire from you. We will fill it and answer to your question. So after they reviewing the questionnaire, so if you see and if you consider that you are eligible for your mentorship program, so we'll furtherly define the way how to work together.
Great,
That makes sense.
great, great, I'll say.
Thank you so much for your very, very valuable time. Thanks so much for your dedication, for your contribution. So it's very highly appreciated, and it's an honor for us to be your, how to say, I mean, to speak with you, to meet with you. So we are looking forward just for a better cooperation, and we do hope to see you very, very soon.
Great.
Thank you so much for
I hope to see
everything.
you soon too.
Yes, and wish you everything in your wish you success in your every endeavors.
Great.
Thank you so much and take care.
Thank you. You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.